Did you change your hat?
Nah.
No. Good, me neither. I'm leaving that in. I'm so leaving that in. Mr. Kurtagram, I already know how you are.
Yeah. How am
Good, mate.
Yeah. What's happening?
Not much.
Same beanie as last week.
So yeah, I know. I actually I sort of made half an effort to make it look like we recorded this on a different night because I clicked the button and changed the lights behind me. But then I decided I don't really care that much. We recorded these two on the same night. I don't think anyone is going to be upset about that.
No.
So we were just talking at the end of the last episode about things that you remember from early photography. Last session you mentioned doing reviews and early days. You remember you mentioned Ken Rockwell. Every time you look up a different camera or lens, it's Ken Rockwell's taking a photo of a leaf in his backyard.
Yeah.
Let's I thought this would be really fun if we go back and forth with some early photography memories, some nostalgia. Nostalgia's been a bit of a theme, I feel like, in the past year or so. Year or two, definitely, in the pandemic. So if it's cool with you, maybe let's have a little bit of a nostalgia battle and we'll go a bit back and forth.
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool, let's do it. One of my earliest photographic memories is being convinced by a man at a camera shop to buy the twin lens kit.
Did you buy it?
Yeah, I did.
Damn.
Do you remember the twin lens kit? So you got your 18 to 55. That's that's coming home already. That's safe.
Yeah.
You're already going home with that. And then
55 to 210, was it?
55 to 200 it was for Nikon, which is what I started on. And your mind boggles as a young photographer, as a greenhorn, as they say. You think, I'm covered from 18 to 200 millimeters. I could shoot anything with those lenses. And I think the telephoto, the variable aperture telephoto zoom, I'm going to say f4.5 to f5.6, something like that.
Could be, or 5.6 to 6.3, or maybe it was 4.5. Actually.
I can't remember. Terrible lens. I think I took lots of photos of dogs at the dog park with it
from far away,
from quite a distance.
And that's the thing. Would your Nikon have been APS-C as well?
Oh yeah. D5000. Yeah. So mate, the effective reach was out of control. That was a 315 millimeter equivalent.
Yeah. Well.
Is that right? Is that the math?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know math, but
300 is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting because when I first started, I saw those kits, and all those numbers actually didn't mean anything to me anyway.
Yeah.
Because I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing. I hadn't studied, hadn't done anything. So it was like I just knew that I needed a lens. So for me, I think I bought the 16 to 50, like my A6000 Sony, with the 15 to whatever it is. Yeah, what is it? 16. What was it? To 55.
16 to 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like, and I remember first taking a couple of images, and I was like, it was just crazy how, like, I was just like, this is amazing. When I bought that, maybe iPhone 3 was out, and it was so good, man. Like, I go did it, and actually, that's a funny thing. That can be one of my first ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, it would focus and then it would capture it, and I would just like, wow, the colors are awesome. Like, this is crazy. Like, there was no such thing as, well, not really on Instagram or anywhere. Like, I didn't understand what grading was. I didn't, know what filters were even then. So it was like, it was cool to have a stock lens, but there's no way I ever would have used the 18 to 200. Like, or is that, sorry, 55 to 200. Like, never. That it's just, who would use that? Like, I know they sell it to you.
It's the biggest scam in photography.
Yeah, why even make that lens?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the 16 to 55 it's a good stock lens to start off with, and just literally play around and understand how your camera works. But the only issue is the lens is so shit in low light that when you first get your camera, you're going to shoot in auto, and it's going to just choose some, you know, crazy ass ISO, so it's going to be noisy as hell, and your shutter speed is going to be like a 20th of a second, and all your shit's going to be blurry, and you're taking it indoors, and you're going to be like, why this camera sucks, you know?
There's only two things that I can think of that lens is usable for. Number one is shooting the animals at the zoo.
Yeah.
Number two is maybe if your son or daughter is doing an outdoor sport from far away, like surf lifesaving or something like that. On a beach.
With that, you're talking about
beach.
The 55 to 200.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking about 1655. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I'm talking about the long lens. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 18 to 35 or the 16 to 50. You know, like you said, it's pretty bad in low light. You know, anything indoors, kind of forget about it. But for the most part, it's actually a very useful, you know, focal length, and you know, it is a good all rounder. But do you reckon it's a bit cruel to give a new photographer the variable aperture lens? I remember that was something for ages. I was asking other people who were slightly better at photography. I was like, why is it that when I zoom in, my photos are darker?
Yeah, you didn't realize.
I couldn't for the life of me figure that out. Like you said, you look at all those numbers on the box or on the lens, and it doesn't mean anything
nothing.
to you.
Yeah. The only thing is that when you first buy your camera, you're like scraping together all your pennies to get it. So, and the dude at the camera store, unless you've got the money, he's not going to sell you a fixed aperture lens, even though I feel they're superior for just quality and also in low light. So it's like, yeah, you can't afford it, and that's why your first camera is usually an APS-C camera as well, because you can't afford to get a full frame, or you don't even know what a full frame is. All you know is that camera's more expensive, so you don't know. And a lot of the time it was like, all you need is APS-C, you're fine. And especially with videography, because they say, you know, we've the last 100 years or however long, we've shot in Super 35 anyway, so we don't even need full frame. But as a photographer, I think we like that we have full frame. You know, but again, you know, if you're shooting the X100, you know, that's whatever it is, APS-C. And that's great. So, I mean, it's come a long way, I feel.
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, I don't think the sensor size has much of a impact on the photos that you can take, really. It's
not when you know what you're doing, I think.
Yeah, true, but I just mean like the technology now, it's not like they're that much further behind in terms of, you know, noise performance or image quality or
exactly.
whatever. You know, it's a bit different now. Like the camera that I first bought, the D5000, you know, that would sort of break up anywhere past ISO 800.
800,
yeah.
Even now I have in my brain, just from those early days, like never to just push anything past 800. Because I'm like, I'll do everything else I can before I, you know, crank up that ISO. Yeah,
I think that's a good way to learn, though. I think that's...
Yeah, because that's the last thing you want to choose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Again, I'll choose my aperture first, then my shutter speed, and then my ISO.
Yep.
And then just balance it between, you know, how blurry do I want the subject, or... if I need to capture motion, or then that ISO has to go up.
Cool. I forgot whose turn it is. Is it your turn?
So it's my turn. My turn is leaving, or not even knowing that you can turn off the focus sound.
The beat, the focus beat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like, did it, and then you take the photo. Like, a lot of people probably still have it, but for me, it was like, that's something. Even on my lights that I use, like, I just turn all the noises off, so they're not constantly beeping. Like, if you're in a professional environment, you don't want that to be beeping before every single click, like refresh, or you focusing the camera, And at weddings, like, you're not going to go did it all day. Like, it's very off-putting for the subject, I feel. Like, I'm just not even sure why it exists in modern day cameras, because it'll give you a green box, or like, that you've hit focus.
That was a nostalgic punch in the guts right there. That one caught me unaware, and that I actually kind of miss that sound. Like, as weird as it sounds.
I think with a like a DSLR, it felt like you had something robust, and it was like really, it made that experience, like the beep sound did.
Yeah.
But as soon as you switched over to a professional environment, that's when I feel like that beep better not exist, because it doesn't mesh, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
You're right, though. I suppose on those older cameras, where the experience was a lot more, tactile, and a lot more sort of somewhere in between digital and analog, compared to how we shoot now. It really was that feedback. It was that cue to know.
Yes.
Fucking nailed it. It
Exactly.
was that cue to know. Yeah. That,
because before, like, just even on SLRs film, like, you still miss focus half the time, even if it would beep. Just the technology wasn't as reliable, I feel.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I like that one. Well, you made me think of another one. This is not going to be my proper one, but I just want to say 15 autofocus points. That was what you made me think of. Or whatever it was on that first camera that I had. I'm just picturing 12. It. Yeah. It looks like the Southern Cross on in the viewfinder.
Yeah,
literally. That's what autofocus used to be like.
But it wouldn't even be 15. Like, it would probably be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 max. Because it didn't even really focus to the edge of the frame either.
Oh, like, no way.
You'd have to focus, recompose, and then hopefully it would hold. But then sometimes it wouldn't. It'd just like refocus to the background.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hit you with my proper one.
Yeah.
UV filters.
Yeah. What about them? Do you not use any anymore?
No way.
You don't use any filter ever?
No, I use CPLs when I have to. I've got variable NDs. I'm not using a UV filter. What are you using a UV filter for?
So if I drop my camera, it's not going to smash on a rock? Or
if you drop your camera on a rock, it's fucked.
No, not at all. Like, so I literally just bought a UV filter because the lens isn't fully waterproof or water sealed until you apply that filter on the front, same as like the X100V, so I feel like you need a filter on there to like, because I was thinking if I'm shooting in the rain or whatever, then it's just gonna get pissed on.
Professional lenses, I'm pretty sure. If anyone else can correct me or wants to weigh in here, by all means. Professional lenses, I'm pretty sure, are weather sealed. The only way that something is going to get in is through the zoom mechanism. So you know how you look at the back of a zoom lens and it sort of moves in and out. I'm pretty sure that's how dust or moisture gets in, because there are gaps in between the zoom, particularly from the
Yeah.
back of the lens, but I'm pretty sure the front element is weather sealed, and to be honest, most lenses that you use professionally, you're going to have a lens hood on them, and that's going to protect them as good or better than a UV. In my opinion, this is purely my opinion.
And I think you're wrong. So
agree to disagree.
Because what if I'm doing the champagne shit on a wedding day and it gets straight into my lens?
Yeah.
Guess what? I would like to take that filter off and clean it. You know, like I just feel, I don't know. I still feel like they're a necessary thing, not like, oh, my first lens, I need a UV filter.
Okay.
Because a lot of people don't even use them either, like when they first get a camera, because they're like, I don't know what that is. I don't need it. So I've always invested in like Polarpro UV filters because
really, what are you spending on a UV filter?
Dude, it's like $200.
No way.
Yeah, because I always was like, okay, you've got good glass. Why would you put shit glass in front of you?
100%.
So that's why I opted to buy the Polarpro ones. But yeah, it's like, for not when I'm in studio or anything, I won't use them. But if I'm doing outdoor stuff, you know, or if I'm in the footy and someone spills their beer on it, like I would just rather extra layer of protection. And I feel like you're wrong saying that every lens has that seal, because I just don't think it does.
Interesting.
Especially the X100V. It's not weather. It's
that,
not weather.
That one definitely is not weather sealed. Yeah, you need the filter and you need the adapter to weather seal
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
But my understanding was most professional lenses are weather sealed.
But again, what do you class as a professional lens? Like a fixed aperture or
like a G Master lens is weather sealed.
Yeah, no, but like not everyone's using a G Master lens in a professional sense. So so you're saying
that's true.
You're saying the professional marketed items like the G Masters or even the Gs are weather sealed.
I would have thought so. I haven't looked that up specifically, but that's always been my assumption, I suppose, because I'm pretty sure the Canon L lenses are. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I'd love to hear if someone else is on Team Kurt or Team Peach here. But to me, the UV filter is almost as big of a scam as the twin lens kit, because the filter, like the guy at the camera shop, he's making mad markups on UV filters, and that's why he's selling you UV filters when he sells you some gear. That's the filter and the warranty. That's how dudes in camera shops make their commissions.
That warranty is just, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Or it's like when you go to Harvey Norman, they sell you a 5-year warranty for an electronic item that might last you a year before you upgrade. You know, and at Harvey Norman, they sell you on this thing that's like after a year, and if it gets destroyed, then you can replace it with the brand new item, right? But usually it's like terms and conditions. You had to have not kicked it around your house and, you know, dropped it on the ground, whatever the things are. But again, it's just like an extra $300 or more to, you know, that's the thing with electronics. They're upgrading so quickly these days. I don't want my same product in a year. Like realistically, you know, there's going to be a better TV out in a year. There's going to be a better light, you know, light out in a year. There's going to be a better laptop. Like I don't want the same item realistically.
And not just that. First of all, you pay for photographer's insurance. You insure your own equipment in case of you know, accidental damage. But secondly, I'm pretty sure electronics fall under I forgot what it's called. No, I was going to say in terms of like faults. If something happens,
there's consumer law, like 3 years.
Consumer law, at least
3 years. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 years, because if your Apple breaks, you just go to them, say, "Oh, consumer law." Dude, they just replace it. It's fine. I have a 2018 MacBook Pro that I'm going to trade in, I went to trade it in. They said, "Oh no, the battery's gone. You're gonna have to replace it." So they sent a technician out to my house for free, replace the battery. It wasn't the battery; it was the actual motherboard. So then they resent another guy 2 weeks later, replaced the motherboard. So now I have this brand new 2018 spec MacBook that I'm just gonna trade it into them to buy an iPad or whatever. But it's like, it's just all under warranty, and it's like, it's 2022, and that was a 2018 or 2019 MacBook Pro. So it must have been in the 3-year thing.
With Apple Care or with no Apple Care?
No Apple Care.
No. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether I just walked in with a good smile, or like, I don't know, I got lucky that day. But yeah, I got a whole new laptop now that I'm still gonna give back to them.
Trade it in. So, yeah. It doesn't make sense. Apple's so weird like that.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Apple's, right? You go in to get when a couple of years ago when I upgraded to my current iPhone, I took all the old iPhones that we had in our family, and I just went and got the batteries replaced to give them to other family members that didn't have phones or had shit phones. And my one I gave to my godfather, and he was so chuffed because I think it was an iPhone 7 or iPhone 8 or whatever, but he was so chuffed because when I went in to change the battery, they cracked the screen or something, taking it off. So they just gave me a brand new phone. I just used this phone for 2.5 years or whatever. And they cracked the screen, taking it off. So like, oh, here, you can just have this new one. So I just gave him this new phone in a box. He was chuffed.
Yeah, it's so good.
It doesn't make sense sometimes. They're obviously like, the cost of an iPhone is obviously, 5 times. They've factored in
10 times
that phone breaking twice or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Controversial one, the UV filters. I like it. Again,
I don't think it's controversial. I think you're wrong. So
I think I'm right, and I think it's another piece of glass to get dust in between your front element and your subject.
How does it get in? How does the dust get in there? If you first thing you do, put it on, that's it. No dust anymore.
Are you... Surely though, I suppose if that's all you're using, but for me, I'm taking circular polarizer on and off. I'm doing that variable ND. Like, mine get filthy.
Yeah, so I guess now I'm lucky because with the FX6, I don't have to use a variable ND. So I just, I will just use like a moment cine bloom on the front of that for video, and then all the photo stuff. Like, I never use the CPL. Probably should for like some real estate stuff and stuff like that, but most of the time I'll just forget it. It'll be at home on my office. So it's always that's the hard thing about shooting so many different things too. Like, I just have so much shit, and some of it is really specialized, and some of it you can use for every shoot. So
true.
It's knowing, like, every night. Like tomorrow we're shooting a campaign for Made with Love bridal company, so I'll be doing video, Carl will be doing photo, so I'll have to take all my kit there, she'll take all her kit, and then I go straight from there to shoot the State of Origin game. And
cool.
So again I have totally different setup there again, so I've got to take different lenses, got to take me money maker, and then it's just a totally different setup. So in between those two shoots and Cara using gear as well, like, I could easily forget shit, like if I needed a CPL. It's like, it kind of as organized as you are, you still can forget shit.
That is the worst, having to pack for multiple things and to go from one thing to another. That is the worst.
Exactly. And I also got hit up for a shoot in the morning as well to do some new headshots of the Firebird's new coach. I don't know if that's announced yet. It'll be announced by the time this comes out. But yeah. And so then that would have been a whole nother setup, like lights, like everything. And I was just like, there's just no way I can drive hour one way, 2 hours back the other way, 2 hours back the other way, and then 2 hours home again, and do 3 shoots with three totally different setups. Like,
Yeah. So naturally,
I actually had
yes.
to. No, exactly. I usually would, but for the first time, I was like, no, man, I'm pulling back. Like I need to be. Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, I rock up to the first shoot and I forget shit. Second shoot, I might have forgot something. Third shoot, like, if I rock up to the Origin, it's an hour away from my house. It's going to be a real pain in the ass, like to not be prepared for. But sure. So that's why my CPL, I don't even know where it is. So, and then variable ND, I don't use it anymore because I shoot with FX6. But again, so I guess using filters is great, but I actually sliced my thumb open one night because I had a stupid UV filter on, which are sometimes thinner. They're actually, the one that I had was a cheap one, so it was thin, really thin, and it was fused to like a step-up ring that I used to put a variable ND on. So I was trying to separate the three of them, and it actually just sliced me clean open. Like, I've got a big scar on my thumb.
Oh shit!
I had to go to hospital. Like, and the next day at 6 a.m. was my first day ever shooting a piece for Foxtel to go live that very next day. So it was the one of the biggest shoots I've ever done, and I'm in hospital, till like 5 a.m. just because I tried to. So that's why these days, I don't stack filters. It's just one or none, because I've had that experience with like it shattering in my hands. Yeah.
There is few chairs in the world more uncomfortable and few rooms with worse lighting than the emergency room in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It is not.
They suck.
It's not somewhere you want to be.
No.
You feel 10 times worse just being in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it your turn or my turn?
Okay, so my turn here is, so when I started photography, I didn't know much about those lenses. That's right. I had the fixed, the kit lens, which was 16 to 55, and then my first proper lens, I guess, was the 50mm FD 1.4 manual focus off the Canon. What is it called? FD mount system, right? Film. So I used that with an adapter, and that's all it is.
I remember you shooting that lens. You came to Melbourne once.
Dude.
I remember you shooting that lens.
Yeah, it was sick. Yeah, and I gave it to Nate, but I got to get it back off him because he never used it, and it was just a dream to use. It was such a nice experience, and just made it more tactile. Anyway, so the lens that I'm going to talk about is what they call the Dream lens, which is the 50mm 0.95 Canon LTM mount. So it was like a Leica M mount that Canon used on their rangefinders, like the Canon 7. And it was, back then, it was like $2,000 to buy.
Did you have that lens?
I didn't have the money.
Oh, yeah.
But I always wanted it, and I wish I bought it because now they're about $6,000. Like they're so hard to get, and they just looked. I remember some of the very first A7 Sony mirrorless camera images that one of the reviewers did. I think it was called the Faux Blogger or Photographer. I don't know, whatever it was. He took some photos of it, and the lens looked like for me it was all about the girth. Like I just loved seeing this massive lens. That's why I was so drawn to the 50mm 1.2 Canon EF as well, because it was just this fat, stumpy, like it just, they were sick. So for me, it was like you had that, you were a baller. But so this 50.95, it was, I just wanted it so badly, but it would have been so impractical to use in any like in any instance, like even now, I mean, that's what they also do the Noctilux 50mm 0.95, and I'm like, dude, they're just like these dream lenses, and it's like, oh, if I had one it would be so good, but practicality, especially in a professional sense, I would never use that. Like for photography anyway, videography, you can get away with it with those kind of lenses, a bit more stylistic. But for photo, man, there's no chance. Like nothing's in focus, like an eyelash, and that's it. But for me, it was like this thing that I just
the Holy
wanted
Grail.
one so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, because it was just something that was so. Yeah, it had so much history, but also it was just probably unattainable as well. So that's why it was like, and again, even then I didn't even really know anything about any other lenses. It was just I'd done so much research on this one thing that I just thought it was I still think it's the greatest thing, and I wish I had one, but it would just to be to take photos of it, not with it. To be like, look what I got on my camera. How cool is this?
Yeah, it's like having a nice watch. It's just
exactly.
You've hit the nail on the head with two there, I reckon, because I had 50mm lenses on my list, but I didn't have it on the list. But another really good one is just unattainable gear. At the time, you look at all the expensive gear that you can't afford, and you just draw, and you just dream. That is nostalgic photography shit for me. At the time, I remember it was the Nikon D3 or the D3S or whatever. I was like, oh my god, that is such a cool. Look how big it is. It looks so you can hold it sideways.
Yeah. So the D3, D4, D5. They all had that inbuilt, like the A, what do they call them? The Canon. What are they called?
What, like the vertical grip?
Anyway, yeah. But it's like built into the camera. Like I forgot 5D, 1D. Yeah, the 1D. The 1D has it as well. Again, I looked at that and I was like, that's a camera. Like that, like that's professional. If you rock up and you can shoot portrait without having to have your arm all whack, and it's already built in, like, you're the real deal.
There was a really weird interim where a lot of the Canon professionals were jumping ship to Sony, and then those the Canon shooters that didn't had to make a decision: do they double down in the Canon DSLR system, or do they follow everyone else and jump ship and get an A7 whatever? The people that doubled down, they spent $9,000, $10,000, and they bought the 1DX Mark II or whatever, because it did 4K.
It was sick.
50
it's
frames
such a
or
good
whatever.
Camera. I wanted
but
one.
Like there was a point where all the the vloggers on YouTube were running around with these things on Gorilla Pods. Like
that was the 1DX.
Yeah.
I mean,
Peter McKinnon was doing that on a Gorilla Pod. He was shooting everything with the 1DX. That thing's a freaking oh my god!
Not really
kill someone with that.
But I guess you even look at like a lot of vloggers now. You can use the ZV-1 or something small, but a lot of them still use them like it's like a whole cage rig setup. On like it is heavy. They've got monitors and all that kind of crap, and like for the best image quality, but or just being able to film something really good. But I tried to vlog with, I think it was like my A9 or something. Me and Liam went out on the golf course, and it had a cage on it, and it was heavy, dude. And like, it was the shittest 2 hours of my life because it was just so heavy, and I just felt like, I think I just used a 24-70, so it just wasn't wide enough either. And like, that was my
impractical
one and only vlogging experience.
Okay, let's do a few more real quickly because I want to wrap this up soon because it's getting late. But let's be a little bit more rapid fire with these. I'm going to hit you with one: the fisheye lens adapter. Did you ever have one of those? You screw it, $25 on eBay. You screw it on the front of your kit lens.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know that with the A6000 they had a one. It was like the 16mm, and then you screwed it on, and then it went to like whatever white or like a fisheye thing. And I always thought about it, but then it just was not really practical. Whereas for you, in that band scene, I guess it would have been more practical. And like, did you purchased like something off eBay, or you never got it?
No, this was pre-band photography. This was just like shooting my brother on a skateboard, and I don't know, just like shooting my mates on Australia Day, and I think it was literally like under $30 from eBay, and you screw it on the front of your 18 to 55. And at the time, I thought it was so cool, but the image quality was garbage.
Yeah,
and it just it looked horrible on the front of the camera.
Yeah, I had I bought off Nate. It was a Tamron 10 to 18 or something like that, fisheye. And that was like my, next purchase after the 50mm. I purchased like 2 lenses off him, but they were meant for Canon. So I just mounted it on, but like I just thought it was the coolest thing. I did heaps of stuff when we were recording and stuff, just like in the recording rooms. Like, and it was just like, I could see the whole room. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we did some studio diaries.
Nice.
Terrible, but it looked so cool. Like, and now when I think of that style, there's just nowhere I would apply it to anything that I currently do. So,
I can't even imagine taking fisheye photos of things other than people with fringes.
Well, skateboarding videos.
I feel like it just goes hand in hand.
with a gimbal now these days, and then a bloody Segway and a fisheye. Oh,
dude, all the skateboarders I know film on iPhone now.
Yeah,
it used to be those. Was it Panasonic? Something 1000.
Yeah,
there used to be a camera that every skate crew had. It wasn't even HD, but it was like the camera to film skate. And literally now everyone just uses iPhone.
Yeah.
Chuck it on a little, one of those little cheap phone gimbals
things. Yeah.
Follow behind someone on a skateboard. I mean,
literally. Yeah, and you fall off. You're not really damaging anything. An iPhone is probably, I would say, way more durable than a camera these days.
Probably,
because it weighs nothing, and when it hits the ground, if you got a case on it and stuff, it's probably indestructible.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
might have a scratch on your screen.
Yeah.
All right, you got another one?
I was just gonna say, I guess it was a bit of a phase when I first started. Was like full freaking HDR images. Like that was when I got into the game, and it was like. It was the very start of really seeing that style. And dude, I had some shit software on my Mac. I think it was called Intensify, and it just had like a couple of these HDR presets, and it was just, oh man, did stuff look good on that.
I remember Flickr was full of that stuff. We used to call it the alien render.
Wow, it was crazy. So
and there was always old blokes shooting landscapes with those horrible Photoshop plugins.
Yeah. I'm looking now, and it was called Intensify. It was this program that it used where it would have a couple of clicks, and I had just HDR goodness. Like I did a trip to Europe, and all these landscapes I just made HDR, and like I just thought it was so good, and I look back and it was so shit. Like I just wish
just dirty.
I wish I didn't edit anything and just had a JPEG at least. Like, and again, it was with that fisheye lens too, so it just everything looked crazy horrible. Yeah,
everything looked so 2012.
So sick. Yeah, it was so bad.
All right, off-brand batteries.
Oh yeah, everyone has to have a go at them, don't they? And then realize how shit they are.
Yeah,
like it's like
they don't even talk to your camera.
They're half. Yeah, exactly. They're half the price.
Yeah. What about? You mentioned branded camera straps. You got your Nikon D5000 camera strap. You got your Canon 5D camera strap. Just to show everyone what a true G you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They were big. I think I got a personalized camera strap one year off brand in Melbourne. What are they called?
Lucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they were cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they were cool.
I liked it, and then I just stopped using straps. So.
Yeah. All right. Any final words?
No, I regret everything.
Ken Rockwell. Ken Rockwell and photos of leaves from Ken Rockwell.
Yeah, exactly. Also, macro lenses are probably the biggest scam ever too. Like, because you don't need it until you really need one, but then like you're not going to use it for anything else realistically. Yeah. I mean, the Sony 90mm macro is great because you can still use it for portraits and stuff, but yeah, if you got a 50mm macro, you might as well just have a 50mm, like a proper 1.4. Unless
what's the deal with wide angle macro?
Well, not sure.
There's a lens, I think it's Laowa or something like that. Yeah. They make an 8mm macro lens.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like their products. They're coming out with more and more really specific lenses, which is cool. Like that Pro lens that I recently got is it's 24mm, which seems so wide. F14 to 22 maybe, and 24 is super wide. But again, it's macro. It's like 5:1 macro, so you can get right up against it. Yeah. But again, 24mm. I would have liked it if it was like 50mm.
That I think it's 8mm macro or something.
Yeah.
I'm told it focuses so close you can see the dust on the front of the lens.
Perfect. So you could see the layer of the UV filter as well.
That's right. You could see the shitty UV filter that you got upsold.
Yeah.
That you lined the guy's pockets with. Yeah. That's a good place to leave it. My tool of the week is UV filters.
Yep, great. So my tool of the week is just filters in general, actually. So the brand is called, what are they called? Not Diamond FX. I don't know, whatever they are. So they do like the radiant filter, they do the rose filter, they do all that. Dream filters, all that. I think that they are great to try creatively, alter your images or to create some kind of style. So I actually do really think they're kind of inexpensive and can spark some creativity. It's not like you need to shoot with them exclusively or all the time. So yeah, I think filters in general are cool if you can get them at a discounted price, because you're not really going to use them all the time.
Yeah.
Unless that's a style that you've developed, but
worth dipping the toes.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just one at a time or.
Yeah, cool. Well, I was being facetious and sarcastic when I said UV filters.
Yeah, no, but I was being real.
You were being real, and I apologize because I don't want to leave with that energy, but I can't remember if I've mentioned, I actually did recently get the Peter McKinnon variable Polarpro NDs, and they are fantastic. I've never actually used a variable ND before, but these are brilliant just for my daily vlogging use. I rate them. Thank you once again for joining us for this very nostalgic trip down memory lane / debate / full-blown argument. No, not quite. It was all in good fun. You got me with a couple of good nostalgic gut punches there, and I enjoyed that. That was fun. Okay, as always, if you've enjoyed the show and you want to support us, the best way you can do that is to give us a thumbs up on the video to get that algorithm ticking along. Subscribe if you haven't already, and if you've made it this far, could you please leave a rocket ship emoji in the comments? Just to let everyone know that you are a true legend of the Legends Club. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.